arts engagement is a very important part of this because we're bringing people out of galleries and out of museums into the world to sort of interact with the landscape, and it's kind of a great example of how to do that. I better see what stop number this is. I forget. Wait. Here it is. Okay, 26. This is stop number 26 on the Farm Art Detour. The artist of this truck sculpture, is named John Himmelfarb. He's from both Chicago and Spring Green, just down the road a piece. He actually drove this here. This is Kyle Martin, local plein air painter who is capturing this sculpture in oil.
It's interesting, I actually saw another one of his pieces in the Wyoming Valley off of Highway 23 in the spring. Huh. I painted that. I didn't know it was a piece of art. I mean, it was the same kind of thing, just all these fuel tanks stacked up on a truck. And I saw it and I just thought it was an interesting way to
I want to see that
recycle.
painting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's beautiful. I mean, the thing that I do as a landscape painter is I kind of have to look at the lines of the landscape in a different way. And what this does is it allows even the residents of the area to take a second look in that same way. It's a different look, but it's just connecting us with the land and connecting us with the farmers. I grew up farming, and it's just really important to support local farmers, and because without them we're not going to have any food, so it just makes people connect with their farmers. Art is food for the soul, and so we need to nourish our soul, especially in today's culture, in the same way that we need to nourish our bodies with wholesome foods.
Hi, I'm Pat Koban from Recent Family Farm in Loganville, Wisconsin, and I'm here representing the Ridge and Valley Growers, which is a whole group of wonderful local farmers from the communities of Lavelle, Hill Point, Lime Ridge, North Freedom, Reedsburg, and the Dells. So we put together all of our produce this year to have this culture stand at the Art Asylum in Lime Ridge. We did meet a lot of new people, and let's see, I think probably our biggest sellers were the garlic and the mushrooms. We had a lot of interest in Deb Dube's Aronia berry jam. We also had some interest in Cedar Grove cheese curds and the other pottery that was here at the stand.
The Aronia jelly is really good.
Tell me about that. What is it?
Aronia is it's higher in antioxidants than any of the other jellies, and native to this area. The berries are black, and they grow on bushes about the size of like high bush blueberries, and they taste really awful if you just eat them raw. But as soon as you cook them, you can use them in baking just the way you do blueberries. And it makes a dynamite jelly, especially if there's some sugar involved. Well, I don't know if you can see here, there's quite a distance between here and the yarn because they love to roll in all kinds of stuff. And of course, their fiber picks all of that up. So there's a lot of prep work that goes into making the yarn. So that spinning the yarn is the least of the work, actually. It's the picking that takes the most time and is the most, that's tedious. I also have solar panels. He's standing in front of the solar panels with a straw hanging out of his mouth. They don't seem to notice when there's straw or whatnot hanging out of their mouths. Doesn't bother them a bit.
It's a pretty good life, right?
Yes. People think that, llamas, they spit. They really only spit at each other, or if they're really angry about something. They are aggressive feeders, so they have a lot of food fights with each other. And then for people, it's just a matter of not being in the middle of that. And it's really funny because after they've spat at each other, they kind of go there with their mouths open and they can't eat. So they have this food fight, fighting over the food, but then they can't eat it. They're just too upset.
This is Castle Reedsburg, and this was what we call a farm form, which are creative expressions by folks who don't necessarily consider themselves artists. In this case, it was a collaboration between a construction company, Foodie and Associates, and Veerbucher, which is an engineering firm in town. And so this is Castle Reedsburg, which is made from local straw and recycled pop bottles. Serpentine, frankly, I don't know what the title signifies, but I know that he wanted to have an object that you could see the land through and that it evoked some organic shapes and reflected the landscape across the street.
And then what do you want people to take away from this experience? Being somebody that comes from the city to just come out here, what do you want them to leave with?
Well, fermentation is transformation. And so I think it's really important for people to see how places and food and lives and futures can be transformed. And so I think I want people to see possibilities and revitalize people's imaginations.